Hi, welcome to Point Nemo, sponsored by Core Water. We're sponsored by Core Water now. We're also sponsored by Pistachios. Car Water. Also sponsored by coffee. And that's our friend, Blue Puppet. And we're here, episode 23. That was a bad opening, but
we're not getting into this.
But we made through it. Yeah, so we're here. We're not going to go back. This is episode 23, y'all. This is our second episode in the new spot and the new digs.
Oh, it's like we've had episode 23, not our second. It's our second episode.
It's our second episode. Vince, if you're just tuning in for the first time, Vince here.
Blood
and
Rob
and Rudd. But yeah, we're just having a silly time today, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of sponsors, shout out to cannabinoidsheal.com. They are a website that sells CBD essentials, things like flowers, oils. They have like
powder.
Yeah, the powder that's the CBD isolate.
Yeah.
They also do pre-rolls. And yeah, we had Aiden on as a guest. You already know this, but check out that episode if you want to learn more about his company, and because he brings in samples and shows you kind of what.
And we're gonna have it.
Yes, maybe
right there.
Maybe in the description if I remember.
Or no, I meant like a little
or something.
Maybe a little.
Should we mention
it's gonna be a little
PayPal thing?
Little.
Oh yeah, and
and
at the moment it's only available. Like you have to check out is well, we didn't even say what we are offering. We have a promo code that you can use with cannabinoidsheal.com at checkout. You check out, you enter the code POINTNEMO, one word, all lowercase, POINTNEMO, and you'll get 15% off your order. And at checkout, you'll notice too that for the moment, we just realized this is PayPal is the only option you have. But I know that they're rolling out the ability to do it with debit card, credit card, whatever.
Or if like
pretty soon, but
probably be easier to just email your bank account information, card numbers to pointnemopodcast at Gmail.
Social security numbers. Don't forget those. We need
social.
But
Kid
yeah,
socials. I don't know.
So yeah, check that out if you're into the CBD lifestyle and the cannabis lifestyle without the sort of the sillies, the scary berries that you get from. From THC. CBD is a safe, non-psychoactive substance that is helping millions of Americans every day. So thank you. Another quick thing is that we have the Patreon Live. So if you want to become a Patreon member and get access to some exclusive content, such as the monthly, one of our monthly bonus episodes, one of hopefully many to come, called that series is the Highlight Zone. Okay, so check it out. Find out why.
Yeah. You can never guess.
But to be a member, it's really, it's nothing much. It could be $1, it could be $5, it could be $20, if you're feeling funny. I don't know, but we already have some content already up there now, and down the line as we kind of expand, we'll be able to provide other sort of fun little packages like T-shirts, stickers. Things like that.
Fingernails.
Tears in a bottle, maybe.
Tears in a bottle.
Or food, dude. Because I make a mean keto ice cream, bro.
Wait, bro, we're gonna be mailing people food?
Why not?
We could drop ship it.
I don't know if that's.
We could drop ship it real quick.
I don't think that's like legal, dude.
And if
you can't
take it out of the country.
Your grandma can't send you cookies.
No, she can, but if we're doing it for money. Like, am I giving grandma 20
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, don't blow our funds.
No, it's not. I'm just saying. And if it was,
find a loophole.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt we could.
But anyway, so yeah. But a huge shout out and a huge thank you to our first Patreon member, Rob S. Let's throw his name up in big letters right here to say thank you. I've had it.
Oh.
I like the O the best. Oh, we touched.
Are we supposed to pet each other, dude?
Maybe. But anyway, so yeah, thank you to Rob, and thank you to all the future Patreon members. We have some other things that you'll look forward to as video content to come on the Patreon. So check that out. So yeah, let's we have a music review, a song for the music review that we do. Last week we had Flex C on. Before that, in the past, we had Aster the Gemini, Darren Jones. Blake played a song on guitar twice.
I did? Twice?
Yeah.
Don't remember. Oh, I remember the songs, yeah. I remember playing.
And we're actually talking to one guy that will eventually do a in-house sort of. He'll probably be a guest, but he'll also be the musical guest. Now,
yeah.
So
that'll be a big.
Look forward to that.
We're gonna have to get another chair.
Yep. And yeah, so this new guy we got, he sent us. We actually chose this song because we didn't stay in contact for too long, and now here we are. But this is kind of like his one of his I think it seems like one of his most popular songs, at least on YouTube. He sent me that link as one to promote, and all of his things like his SoundCloud, his iTunes, his YouTube channel, and all those other links are going to be in the description below, and so you will, so you'll be able to follow him, because yeah, this song Juke, it's a hot track. I listened to it earlier.
Fire.
And yeah, we'll dive right in and listen to this song. So here we are. This is Austin Fillmore. Song's called Juke, produced by Brother Gif and 12 Tones. Sorry, didn't take my medicine today, so I'm stuttering a lot. But anyway, Rob, let's cue it up.
Think I might wish they thirst like a can of Sprite. Carter's eyes, Marvin's eyes, feeling lucky like I rolled the dice. Feeling fly like a perfect kite. Austin, over Austin. See the haters way too often, but they dare to me like coffins. They need a grip shirt to like Boston. I got the South, they don't wanna get it ousted. I'm a weak star, shot of rousting them. True love crew, that my part of them, I'm part of them. Oh, oh, oh. Ain't nobody real these days. Y'all ain't really got much to say. I'ma bring it back home like D-Way. That's how I live. Girl, what you say to me? Yeah, you find this thing's party, but that ain't nothing to me. Nah, 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 nah. I don't want your number. I don't wanna be your lover. I just really wanna have some fun. So if you with it, then do your boy. 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 When I party, people like, tell them we don't stop. We don't care about the money that you do not got. Kendrick, Arthur's, be alright. Oh, oh, oh. Ain't nobody real these days. Y'all ain't really got much to say. I'ma bring it back home like you ain't. That's hot, yeah. What you say to me? Yeah, you find say this party, but that ain't none to me. No, 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 no. I don't want your number. I don't wanna be your lover. I just really wanna have some fun. So if you with it, then do your boy. Do your boy. Do
Singing that all night now, baby.
Oh, me too. I'm gonna be singing that for a minute. We're back here. That was Juke by Austin Fillmore, and I gotta say that one got me. That one got me lifted.
Shit was clean as fuck, bro.
Yeah.
Good sound.
A great sound.
Good sound.
Yeah, no, I really like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be playing that for a little bit. I'm gonna check out his other songs for sure. I looked at a couple when we were talking through messages, but yeah, I'm really glad you sent that in, man.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
I wish you the best of luck. And he's doing a lot of stuff right now, and you should check out his Instagram. It's pretty. It's just he's a cool guy, and I'm glad to have a sort of relationship with him this way now, and hopefully we can get more songs. Not like that.
No, I know. You're very, very sentimental.
Well, I'm just like, because I like that, like, that's what all this is for us, kind of. At least that's what it is going to be in the beginning. It's kind of like networking with other people and building other relationships and stuff. So I just love when they like work out and they feel right like this, you know. And I mean, we only talked once, but I'm just, as I said, I hope, maybe we can showcase his song and his music again someday.
Yeah.
But yeah, so check the links in the description for all things Austin Fillmore. And yeah, thanks again to you, man. That was really great.
Yeah.
So now let's get into the show.
Let's do this.
Let's get into the show.
Just in case you didn't know, we haven't started yet.
Yeah, not technically. But yeah, no. So just a little disclaimer. I guess this might be, a sort of a less
heavy-handed.
Yeah, sort of. It's not going to be the fun thing. It's not going to be dark, though. It's not going to involve murderers or like interrogation videos. Maybe you'll never. The story hasn't ended yet.
No, and we definitely go down wormholes. So
right, but yeah, no. We'll just start right with this. Is like something that's been on my mind a great deal is like just the idea of obsessing about stuff and obsessions in general, and because I have I've been realizing that like I obsess about the craziest shit all the time, and I've been connecting the dots within myself as to the things that I obsess about, and it's just like for me too, especially like time in life is such a thing I'm constantly thinking about, but I would like realize all the things I wasted on, but it's like my pet peeve is like if I feel like I'm wasting time, I'm not happy at all. But like if I'm in it, I'm flying and I'm having fun. But I don't know. I mean, like what are like obsessions to you? You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's funny because now you bring up time. Like I wasn't thinking about that, and now I can't not think about that.
So I just planted something.
You kind of just did a.
I'm forcing you guys to think about obsessions.
Have you ever seen The Nightmare? That documentary?
Oh yeah.
So like you just did what they do in that movie where basically everyone starts talking about sleep paralysis and they're like, and I didn't know about it or experience it until someone told me, and you're like,
yeah, and then you're like, it's all
it's
you
like this
see.
is like the fucking Ring for real. Like shouldn't there be a disclaimer
right
in the beginning?
Like that you may be destroyed.
I do sometimes obsess about that. I'm waiting for the night where I have it.
Right.
And I'm gonna be like,
I obsess
just
about
frozen in time, just staring at shadow figures, staring at Charles Barkley coming at me close.
What's up, Playboy?
So maybe not too dark of an episode because that was a very, very good impression.
All right.
Now I'm obsessed with that.
You're obsessed with
just like your impression.
My impression of Charles Barkley.
So on point, dude.
But yeah, obsessions, man. Like
time is a big one.
We've talked about it a lot, or I've brought it up quite a bit enough, anyways. Like my one obsession of just like the end. Like I tell you, I go to sleep every night thinking about the wave or the bomb or the asteroid. I think about the end constantly, and it makes me sick. But so I think about that obviously a great deal. But
when you
also
think about that, are you just thinking about the end, or are you also contemplating like the experience of death?
Oh, dude, yeah, the experience, the terror of death.
I feel like it's kind of like Get Out. Like, I feel like you kind of like sink into your body and just like it gets darker and darker until there's nothing.
Well, what I try to do, like, to make myself feel better about that, because it's been seriously years. It was like, I remember 2012 especially was a rough one because that was like,
everything was happening.
That was the one that was like, this is, the Mayans, and this is it.
Yeah, but
So
then
I was
everyone
like,
analyzed and they're like, wait, they were off by like a
it was a
day.
couple days.
Yeah, they were off by a day, and it's like,
I've got to keep going.
January 1st.
But but one thing I do to like soothe that fear is that I try to think of like what the experience of death will be like, and I like convince myself that like when you die, it's just like waking up from a dream. So like the idea that like I'm
dying all the time.
You know how you can't like it's like obviously it's not too heady of a thought, but like how you can't obviously remember being born. You know what I mean? It's like you have memories of like being very young, but like they're just like almost all your memories kind of feel like memories of dreams anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like even like yesterday kind of seems like it could be as easy to recall as like a dream you had as well. But so I'm just saying that like I would always think like, okay, there's the wave, and I'm terrified. I'm horrible because like that's how scary I think it's gonna be like in a dream when you're like facing death in a dream. It's like it's so fucking scary.
Well, it's like unavoidable situations.
Yeah.
That's
Like
so
you
weird
want
you
it to
bring that up though, because that just got me obsessed about thinking about almost how like the present doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like think about the way the clock counts down seconds. Is there ever a time?
We're
where
time traveling.
But that's what I mean. You're
all the
every
time.
time you look at that thing, you're looking at the past. Like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
not looking at the present. That's so like there is no now. There is
So it's
like
gone.
only then and thinking about the future.
I mean,
it's broader only because we're human beings and we can make a moment last
But
a
even
little longer.
even just thinking about it briefly,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I just felt like I
Yeah,
could
it's-
fucking start scribbling on the fucking wall.
so then if you remember something, is that not time traveling? And because you're remembering the past.
You're going back in time.
You know what I mean? Like you're pulling out that moment.
Or if
It
you
might be
dream
something on
and go back
a
in
higher dimensional
same.
level. You know what I mean? Like recalling time like that. Maybe.
Wow.
But
But
so yeah, I would just think that like, all right, the wave's coming at me, terrified, crying, like so upset, so sad to die, and that the wave hits you, and just like it would in a dream, you just wake up. That's how I envision like when the real moment happens. That's what I'm hoping I can tap into, and manifest.
I dream
that
about-
like the bomb will drop, and then just like, and then it's like,
I have
okay,
a
I gotta
lot
do
of
the
dreams like-
podcast.
I have a lot of dreams like that.
Oh yeah,
I
dude.
always
I hate them.
I always die in my dreams, and I always wake up terrified.
Yeah.
A lot of them though are like not dying, but I'll be like, if everyone has this thing where it's like I'm walking, down the stairs, and that last step, I just keep going,
Oh yeah,
and I just wake up and I never hit the floor
Yeah.
because I'm like, what's that thing? It's like if you hit the ground, you die in real life.
That's
But-
weird.
Well, they say, I'm pretty sure you don't actually die in your dream.
Yeah, you can't
Well,
die in your dream.
Yeah, because if you did, you'd actually be dead or some bullshit like that. But
Right.
but it's because your mind doesn't have a
What else
comprehension
would your
of
mind
what
do?
it is.
Yeah,
So it'd be like,
exactly.
fuck, get up, dude.
yeah.
We can't go any further.
Your brain's like, wake the fuck up.
But so yeah, I obsess about death to no end, and it's paralyzing sometimes. But the other things I obsess about a lot that I've been realizing the last couple of weeks is like, well, obviously like crime stories or like murder stories, like serial killers. I love like researching them, and yeah, it's fucked up, but it's mainly a lot of it has to do with the unsolved crimes or the crimes you can't crack. Like I remember as a kid, like where it started too. It was like and I'll go into why I think all of this obsession and like these, like why it's so consuming and how actually like debilitating it's been recently, is like but with John Benet Ramsey, like when that shit came out, like I remember being like crazy, like what is that? When it happened, and
Being in the store and always seeing those magazines
weird
at the
magazines,
checkout, and it was
yeah.
always her.
Yeah,
Like,
terrifying.
forever.
And so now in life, like when they made some great documentary about it recently, and it spurred it all up. This was like 3 years ago, and I went deep, dude. I went deep down a rabbit hole with that shit. Like trying, and it was all because it's so naive. But like, for me, when I'm like looking at these cases like that or Chris Watts, anything, it's like I'm hoping and thinking that I'm gonna find something that no one else is seeing. You know what I mean? And we saw that on that episode a couple back. Yeah. We saw that on that episode where it's like, and that's why I released it, even though I didn't want to in the end. Is like because I believed in some of those, and I still do believe in some of those things, points I made about that case. But like, it's not my place to solve that shit. You know what I mean? And it's not my place to really think as a grown man that I'm gonna like crack the John Benet Ramsey case. You know?
You never.
It's not that it's a bad thing. It's obviously because of a good. It's like something I want. But I'm just realizing that like, especially because like now I've got like this family life too. I'm realizing that like I would, spend this kind of time like researching something or getting lost alone, but then you got like a family and then it's like, you can't really do that, dude. Like, come on. And I'll just be like, it's like, like on the computer or just like researching this shit and getting way too lost. And then like my lady comes home and I'm like check this video out. Like,
solved it.
And I'm like, I think I'm getting close. She's like, I think you need help. Like,
yeah, she's like, you are getting close to me walking out of fucking here.
But
just obsessed though. Like that's
yeah,
what it is, dude.
And like missing persons, dude. Yeah. Missing persons is a huge one. But
Cold Case Files, great show.
Yeah.
Well, I feel you on the interrogation videos, and because for me the psychological motives behind why people do shit, especially really non-typical, like non-normal stuff, like kidnap people and kill people,
like putting people in fridges.
That fascinates me how different the mind, so I obsess over the same kinds of things though, but for different reasons.
Yeah. So I've been like breaking it down, and it's like the whole idea of all these things, like a lot of it being like things that can't be solved,
and this monster.
Yeah, but then it's like a thing of like something inside me is like, well, I must solve it then, and like this feeling of like needing an answer to something, that doesn't have an easy answer. I obsess about that kind of thing, and it's like, and I've been realizing where that stems from, and it's like this like whole thing in my life that I've never like really faced, and like something you guys are aware of. Is like and I'm not gonna like sit here and try to like be like I'm sad or like like this is like I'm this is why I'm tortured, but like these are the things that are like that have been like coming out of me and like affecting me like in my actual life, like something that like obviously it's not a good thing to like bury these things down, but it's been something that I've certainly buried down long enough where it's like kind of coming out and I realize comes out in my anger issues. But yeah, so like I'll sort of like give a little bit of the story, and just like mainly focusing on like these particular things that like happened, and like why it like has like kind of fucked me up lately. So like when I was a kid, I lived in Maine and never knew who my dad was, but would like kind of like ask, but not really know, because my mom had a lot of like boyfriends. So, like, you just think that that's life, like, you just get a new dad every once in a while, Yeah. So it was like that for a very long time. But then when I was probably, like, 5 or 6, I started, like, really asking questions. And she was, like, very emotional about it, which was always, like, annoying, kind of. It's like, why are you sad when I ask, And there's, like, she was just, like, I don't really know him, blah, 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 but like... But his name's Ron Kirby. That's the name of your dad. And I was like, oh, okay. And there was this library like right next to my house, and I'd get up for like a very long time. I would do this. I'd get up, get ready. Like, I still remember it. Like, I felt like I was like, I equated it to what going to work would be like in a office building or something. And like, I'd get up and get ready, like eat my breakfast, and then I'd buzz over to the library next door, and they had a computer there, and so I'd use these like really early days like databases. I'd use these like really old databases, like military databases, to look for this guy Ron Kirby. And my mom sometimes would come too, and she'd be on the other computer doing it, and I would just be bummed out. I wanted to be here alone. I felt big. My mom's my boss today. No. But So anyway, so that would go on for a while. And then eventually it just like life, you know, friends became more important, stuff like that. Like I would do other shit. And then we moved here, and then like a year or two after we moved here or something, I like got back into it because the internet kind of like expanded again or something. It was like better, easier to use. And I would use it. I don't remember who, but I had this friend. I'd stay over at his place, and I'd just like use his computer to look for this guy. It's like pretty sad. Like instead of like just chilling, like being like looking for this guy, Ron Kirby. But like now this database provided like phone numbers. So it was very weird. There's this period of time where I would like call, be like, "Hi, is this Ron Kirby?" And be like, yeah, who's this?" And be like, "Do you
How many dudes did you do
basically,
that to,
dude? Be like, you know, "Do you remember?" And I say my mom's name, and then they'd be like, "No," and I hang up the phone. And I just do that over and over again, dude.
Wait, I know this story because obviously we're friends and we've talked, but
Yeah.
I do want to know. Like I know there's other circumstances, but like yeah, like even if you do get the name, what if the dude was just like I'm not, and it totally would.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Well,
I'm sorry.
no.
But
No,
I'm
dude.
like thinking about how
Dude,
I would be obsessed.
yeah. No,
like,
that's
about
one of
that
the
too,
many
like-
things too. I'll get to that in a second though. But that's that's definitely something that I want to know too.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's
but,
just
like,
I can't.
no,
it's
no,
racking
it's-
my brain.
Yeah.
Thinking about that shit too.
So we moved here. I'm like 10 years old.
Blonde
and,
tips.
And I'm doing that. I'm like back in the game. I'm like researching, writing numbers down. I feel like I'm doing something,
Cold
you know?
calling.
Yeah. And then like, and then I remember it. This is like, you know, a memory I'll never forget. But like, my mom and I are driving around, and just at the Rotary, I remember like being like, "Hey, like, are you sure Ron Kirby's the name?" And she like driving, it's raining, it's pouring, and she's like, why do you ask that?" And I'm like, I'm just asking because
I read your diary.
Well, no, she didn't know I was like back on the hunt, you know.
Yeah.
And so it was racking my brain. I'm like, how am I not getting anywhere, you know?
Yeah, like there should, if you're given the right name, you should be able to get something.
Because all I know from that time was that she met him on this Navy base in this town in Maine, and that's all I knew. So I was always like trying to find somebody with the name to this Navy base. Anyway, so like she's like, "Why do you ask that?" I'm like, "Because I've been looking again and I'm having trouble finding it." And she like pulls over and like is like, "I'm sorry, but like no, that's not his name. Like all I know is that his name is Lawrence. That's all I know." And just another thing to add here, like, and I'll maybe touch on this. I don't want to get too like obviously it's personal enough, but like to the real personal shit. But like, but I'm not really like shitting on my mom and her decisions and what's not here. But
you're
like,
just telling.
I am like explaining it from my perspective in those moments and like how I felt, you know. So it may seem crude or whatever, but like,
well, it also would be pretty frustrating. To find that out.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
I think anyone.
Well,
would
in that
feel
moment,
frustrated.
I didn't care. I was just like, oh, I was 10, you know, so I wasn't like too bummed out.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh, okay, so I just have to like look at
Probably
this
more
from a
subconsciously bummed out than like being aware of it as a kid. You're
exactly
just
because 10, you're still that age, but where you're still like kind of on your parents' side, maybe a
you're
little
just
bit.
like you're all bummed out, pulled over on the side of the road, and your mom's just like, "I'll go buy you a Pokemon game." You're like, "Oh,
yeah,
sick."
see,
Well, you got a new hot tip, so you're probably all like, all right,
yeah, like
let's
at
do
least
this.
this is the truth. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, word, but then I'm like.
As a kid, word.
But I'm also like, I remember also being like, like, what do I do now? It's just one name.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people named Lawrence. Like, what if he goes by Larry?
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah. Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence
He's my name.
Olivier. I can only think of.
No, but I mean just
Actors.
regular Joes. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, only actors. So anyway, I kind of like give up again because also like, you know, you start to get to the age. It's like a new phase of that growing up thing. It's like 10, especially when I just moved here. I didn't really like chill with too many people until like 13 or 14 is when I met like you know, and like.
Didn't you meet Joseph? Oh no, you and me.
Just
met.
the year
Didn't you
before.
and me meet first in summer school, right?
Jose and I met the year before, but yeah, we didn't hang out too much. But then you and I hung out in summer school a lot.
Yeah,
But,
Miss Egan.
Yeah,
Ugh.
fake foot. But
That big fart.
but so So yeah, so I didn't spend like any time like for years looking for this guy anymore, especially because I was like, it's just Lawrence. Like I'll never find him. Fuck it. And it really wasn't until so yeah, basically from the age of like 11 or 12 until like 2 or 3 years ago, I didn't look for this guy anymore. But then like DNA tests, started becoming a thing, and so I took 2 of those and was like back on the hunt. And like this time I'm like seeing all these names I've never seen. I'm seeing all these people I'm related to, but mostly they're like second cousins, third cousins, fourth cousins. Yeah. And the bullshit about it is that like somebody will come up and it'll say second cousin, chances being this, possibly third or fourth cousin, right? But then you click on what a second cousin means, and in like for example Ancestry.com, a second cousin could mean it could be that they're actually your first cousin once removed, or they're your great.
I think people go onto these sites to figure out, being like, "Oh, you're my fourth cousin. I guess we can go on a date."
But you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't even give you like, it gives you a thing, but it's like it's not the real thing.
Here's all the people you might be kind of related to.
Like if it's an immediate family member, that's what it means
like,
more.
So like my mom did take.
Oh well, he's
you need.
My mom took one. And it registers as my mom, and it's like 100%. Blah blah blah. Can't be,
Be weird if you take that and it's like
sister.
50%, and you're like, Mom.
She's your sister.
Yeah.
But so like, yeah. So
you have some canine genus in your blood. Like what?
So then I like, so I'm back on this hunt, and so I'm trying to like look at their family trees. The other bullshit thing about Ancestry.com is that you look at like their family tree, right, that they write out, and if the person's still alive, it'll say private. So you see all these names on a family tree that just say private, so you can't really like dig, And I mean, to their credit, this isn't what this website's used for. It's not to find your dad. It's for to like understand your ancestry and maybe your ethnicity, things like that.
Yeah.
I think it's the government trying to catalog DNA.
Well, yeah.
So they just like probably like type in a bunch of shit. Like,
but you know what I mean? It's not like not like it's designed to find your dad, and in fact, it's pretty hard for most people because So it's just frustrating, all the things that I have like had to come across this time. So I'm like crushing for years, like writing down all these names, putting families together, like not even sure what I'm doing. And then so like, so this is last year or the year before, I think it was last year, I'm like hitting a wall hard, and I'm like obsessing about this too. I'm like spending so much time on the computer looking at the shit, gaining 30 pounds. Like seriously, it was a weird time. But I finally am like, I don't know anymore. And I wasn't turning to my mom asking her any more questions because it was just this one name. And like, honestly, like she was always a little like, she always continued to seem frazzled by me bringing it up and wanting to ask any more questions. So finally though, I'm a dad now. And she's like 4 months old. And my mom, like, I ask her, I'm like, and I'm holding my daughter while I'm asking her, I'm like, hey, are you sure you don't, like, is there anything else? Like, I know you don't have a last name, but like anything. And she like got so like kind of worked up real quick and was like, Vince, I am so sorry that like, I gave you the wrong name for all these years, blah, blah, blah. And I like, cause I had brought up the whole like thing at the Rotary,
Yeah.
I was like, and I asked you about Ron Kirby. And then she's like, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 for all these years. She was like, if I knew a name, I would tell you, but I don't know a name. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? I was like, I thought Lawrence. And she's like, Vince, Lawrence couldn't be your father because he's black.
Oh my God, I don't mean to laugh,
I know.
Fuck, dude.
Laugh what you want.
Oh man.
Because it is
M. Night Shyamalan.
Dude, this is getting to be a fucking book, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, it's for sure funny now, so no worries there. But like, I mean, dude, it was a huge like gut punch, like in the biggest way in that moment.
I think anyone would be pretty pissed off.
Oh yeah, dude. And I'm saying this part not to like drive the stake home to my mom, but so she says that. She says no way because he could be black, and then she says a couple other things, and she's like, we're a little heated too, but like I'm like that's I didn't even like tell her anything, and then she's like, if you're gonna let this continue to bother you, that's your choice.
Like it's gonna bother me my whole life.
She's like, I'm no longer. She's like, I'm freeing myself of this. I'm no longer gonna let this bother me. And she walked away, and it was just like the most depressing moment in my life.
That is, yeah, that's
and
harsh.
I mean, like the one thing that kind of like kept me a little sane from that moment, because honestly, it was such a reality shifter thing, because as going back to the thing of like wasted time, right?
Yeah.
It was like a whirlwind of emotions, just like going back through my life, thinking about me getting up, going to the fucking library as a kid, doing all this shit.
I mean, not to
wasted
like,
fucking time, dude.
Not to like, yeah, like we're talking about it. So, but it is like when you get that last realization, just being like, I don't know, and just being like, so not only did I waste my time, but like she kind of like orchestrated your wasting of time.
Yeah, and like I'm washing my hands of it now too.
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
like, well, fuck.
Oh,
I mean, nothing.
Fuck
Yeah,
now what?
Nothing, not trying to.
No.
Saying it's like
we already hadn't been like for a year or two leading up to her saying that. We already hadn't been like on the best of terms. I was very like, you guys know me too. Like I'm not always like one to be like outgoing or social. So even on a family level, I can be kind of quiet and whatever. So that was already like building up inside of us, and so that made things pretty rough for a little while. But obviously when she said that, I fucking talk about sunk in place. It was just like, when she's around, I don't really like say much, or I like just like walk into the other room or something. And it's not out of like fuck you, it's out of like I told her this recently. I was like, I just can't relate to you, and like the like level of lying that you felt you had to do. I was just like, if I can't relate to someone, I'm usually not gonna fake it. You know what I mean? I'm just like gonna be like, peace. Like see you later. But anyway, so she said that, and it was just like such a shock, and I was like, now what the fuck do I do? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it leaves you at another sort of like, now am I gonna start? You start over again, I guess.
But I had all these like breakthroughs with it where I was like making connections of like, oh, this person's for sure on my mom's side, like on the websites.
I was gonna say, I did the 23andMe, and a lot of the people that came up, it would say which patrilineal or matrilineal, which side it was from. So
so I got the second cousin who matches me the same way a second cousin on my mom does. So I was like, but I didn't know that then. This is talking 2 years ago still, and I started communicating with them for a real long time. I'm like trying to figure out like, how are you there? Blah blah blah, and I was going so hard, like thinking about it all the time, always feeling like I'm getting close, and then something would take me back again. I'd be like, oh shit. And it was just like, it really spiraled out of control to this major obsession. And it was around that same time that and so just to like point out my obsessions of like, so the John Benet Ramsey thing, when I got into that, was pretty severe before the going deep with the dad search again. And then I got obsessed with the dad search, and then go back to the John Benet and do that.
Ping pong.
And then and so then, at the end of this little stunt, I had just hit a wall where I was like pretty sure that what I was looking at was like something wrong in the system, and that they're actually are related to my mom. And I was like, oh, fuck, And then I was like, well, I don't know what to do. And I just like,
you're like, now this website's fucking with me.
Yeah, and I was just like, what the fuck? And then we started doing the podcast. Like almost right away, because that first meeting we had, I told a lot of the story to you there, because I had just been coming off of it.
I'm like, I wanted to bring that up. I don't know if you want to edit it out or not, but that was how this podcast started. Was me and Vince drove my car to a radio tower and smoked like a big old joint, and started planning out this podcast very juvenilely. But you told me this story, and I'll never forget that. I was I
told some other stories too about it.
Yeah, like we went deeper, but I like didn't know all that before you told me too. So I was kind of like, wow, that was like a huge part of your life that I had really not detailed information about, you know.
Yeah, and also because like for years too, I always played off cool because like you don't want to be like I wish I had a dad. Like
we
whatever.
all do. I mean, that's what we do when we hang out. We all act like we're fine when really inside we're just
dying.
Right. That's why you hang out with
right
people
now.
though. Is you forget about those.
Oh yeah.
For a little bit anyway.
And so so the podcast, and that became like a pretty huge obsession. And like how do I, like I wanted to do it, and you guys have like seen maybe like certain elements of like what I talk about, like where like something inside of you starts to like come out and affect others, it's like maybe that has happened with certain things that I've done with this podcast, like like talking to you guys like a certain way, or like like being kind of maybe demanding about certain things, because it goes to that thing of like needing to solve a problem or like take care of something. I'm like, just like, I want to fucking do it right now. Like if we just do it now, and fucking do it, dude. And we're on to the next thing. Okay, let's go. Like,
need some wings.
Let's get some weed. All right. So then like, obsessing about the podcast, and then like, I started obsessing about the Chris Watts case, like pretty fucking hard, like to no end. And there was like this week where I was just like, it was the only thing I would fucking talk about at home, man. And I finally like realized.
See these family dinners where you're like, so I know who did it.
I mean, just look, you can't deny it. But like, what do I do? What do I need to call the FBI and let them know this? I mean, come on, like. But anyway, so. Yeah, I was like realizing that I was really bumming out my love, and and that's where I obviously took a step back. We all saw that, where I was like, I just can't anymore. But then like I just like started having this realization about a lot of things like that I said that like tie into this thread of my life, just like the reality, the fucking like, and all the shit that I like bury down. You know what I mean? Because like try to like wrap this story up, but basically like pretty recently, like 2 weeks ago, I got into this extreme fight with my mom. Like just like she'd like, it was like just a miscommunication, something simple, and then it was just a fight, and I just flipped out and I like blacked out. I was like screaming. I was like, "You fucking bitch, you asshole!" Like saying all this shit. I was like, even said this. I even said this, which is so embarrassing. I was like, "You ruined my life."
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
So then like, we kind of came to like, I figured it out with her. You know what I mean? Because like my whole thing is that like, because like after she told me that shit a couple years ago that there was no Lawrence and blah blah blah, like I had told her I could confront.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear what you're saying. It was that Lawrence was not the guy.
Wrong guy.
Yeah, so like after that I had confronted her because, as I said, things were sour for sure after that, and she like was pissed off at me about that.
Maybe she was embarrassed.
Oh, she for sure was.
And that's why
I should have made that clear. She for sure was.
She couldn't tell you anything because she didn't even fucking know,
She wanted this all to be, So, but back to me. But so so I had told her, I was like, dude, the reason we have a problem now is because like you haven't apologized for lying. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's all I want to hear, dude. And so she did kind of, and then I was trying to explain to her.
It never feels good though to tell someone they need
to
apologize because you're like
forced, and you're like, well, fuck, now I got what I wanted, but it wasn't really what I wanted.
But I wanted to see that she felt bad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
See where her
on her own though.
But also like it was very hard to really get her to understand that, like, dude, what happened in that moment, especially when you walked away after wiping your hands clean of it, I had a lot of huge thoughts, very dark thoughts. I don't think I need to go too deep into what those were, but it made me realize how all these people and going back to now serial killers and all this shit. Is all I'm saying is not like I'm not saying that I'm capable of like being that, or that this has led me to like think those thoughts.
But you could see why.
But I can see why those people went off the deep end. Some people in particular. Yeah. Ed Kemper is a prime example, dude. Like, so you know what I'm saying? Like, it had all these thoughts, and again, the wasted time. Like, I felt crazy.
That's touching upon like nature versus nurture, and it's like definitely like some of those cases are like
Right.
you can push people
Oh,
to
yeah,
like
yeah.
really fucked up place. And some people resist it though. Some people
Right.
just take it their whole life and
Well, that's what I'm saying.
are
I
like,
buried
okay,
it down in that
it's fine.
moment hard because I was like, dude, if I keep thinking this way, it will drive me insane. If I really think about all the days and hours that I wasted looking for people that weren't real, you know what I mean, and the missed like experiences on certain things, I would have gone nuts. So I had to like hide all of that. And so what happened in that after this blowout the other day or whatever is like, I was like, I need you to just recognize that like how you just decided something and then walked away, when I know in real what the reality was is that you walked away and then you just buried it down too. You know, that you really weren't gonna wipe your hands clean of it, but you were making a statement, you know. And I was like, and you just like, and it like the fact that it didn't even pop into your head that like I might become unstable with this reality.
Yeah, that might have.
Because it definitely fucked me up, and as I said, I buried that shit for sure.
It's like Inception though,
Yeah.
like the kind of thing that went down. It's like how do you get a grasp on reality when it's like the person who basically brought you into the world is like warping your reality for a lot of it.
Very
like,
spooky shit, dude.
but also like like kind of just in her position of just like it's like when you just start.
I
start
try
that
to
up.
think about it, and I'm like, I
Once you
guess I
start
can
it up,
see-
it's like you're like, oh god, I need to keep
Yeah.
it going.
But then like
Because I'm sure like when you were a kid, it was like kind of like understandable that she would kind of like just throw it out there. But
oh yeah,
then
because
once
then
it
a kid's gonna like. And
But
then
then once
see
you,
it's a
like-
reality
yeah.
to the kid, it's a reality to you. You don't have to
Yeah.
deal with it until it's older. But now, now I am here.
Mm-hmm.
But but so like, what was I gonna say? Oh, just like So I was like, I need you to realize that like it really like fucked me up, and she did, and whatever. Things are like a little better, but I'm still like on the hunt again, and at the moment I am too, and it's been like. It's been way too much. It's because I'm like recognizing it as this obsession thing. I'm recognizing that it's connected to all these other things
Yeah.
about me and like the sort of structure of certain thoughts.
So that's that's a personality trait that was implanted in you when you were really young because of the story, you know, like with your father.
Or just
so
like
that
the
turned
shifting. Like,
well, that puts you into that kind of obsessive, like you said, like let's do it now, like let's get it, you know, that kind of.
especially because
real
like,
fucking
when I
in the
play
moment
back,
mode.
each time a new like thing changes, I go back and I play everything, you know, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know, and so then I think of the wasted time, and then I think I have to kick it up a notch the next time. You know what I mean? And so it's like, all right, just keep fucking telling me the truth, change it quicker so I can get to the next thing. You know? And that's like, I won't go into this, but like that's like a huge realization on a separate thing about me and my character is like my anger, my rage comes when I'm most angry. It's like I just want to fight really hard, really fast, and then like resolve the issue instantly. And that's not how a lot of people are. And like that's something I realize, you know, being with my wife is like, you know, we get into like, I've started like some serious fights. We've been in serious fights where I just take it to fucking 90, and then I'm like, I bring it down. I'm like, I'm sorry. And I like realized this about myself. I just had this spiritual awakening like 5 seconds ago. Great. Like, are you good?
She's
dude?
like, nope.
No,
you don't
like,
get to fucking turn it down like that.
I'm like, no, I love you. I need to walk away knowing I'm loved.
You just start out Alex Jones like the fluoride's making the frogs gay.
Exactly.
I'm just mad.
But yeah, it's like this need of it's a control thing for sure. Needing to like solve the issue again, solve this fight. I want to solve it right now because I love you. I don't give a fuck that you're that mad at me. You know, it's like I love you. I'm mad at me too. That's the thing I realized the most. That's why I'm probably so hyphy and mad in those fights. It's because I'm disgusted with myself.
That's humility. That's a good quality to have.
But it's also scary.
Makes you
gotta
not a
chill.
sociopath.
Yeah, but yeah. So now I'm on this like trail again, and I'm still stuck on these same people, and I feel like I'm very close. There's no end to this story right now, but I don't know. I'm still like discovering what a fucking second cousin means. You know what I mean? And where I'm at is that this one person who has no relation to my mom, so it seems, is my second cousin, which means that their grandfather's grandfather, is my great grandfather.
So it's your dad's side then, is what you're thinking?
Allegedly, yeah, that's what it looks like.
So what it looks like?
So it'd be like we share a great great-grandfather, me and this second cousin. But again, he could be just a great-great-uncle.
Have you reached out to them yet? Or
what's annoying is that the guy that I'm related to doesn't run his account. It's somebody else. Like, because this guy's kind of old.
Oh, okay.
So it does look like he is what he is, based on his age and whatnot, but it's just like, it's hard to tell. And the fucking annoying thing is that, especially in the fucking 1800s, everybody had hundreds of kids. Dude.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a guy right now that has 10 kids, and I've got to look at their kids.
And then once you get to the end where it's like, and here's your dad, but you need to get a monthly subscription,
right? $200
loot crate.
bucks.
If I get my EA loot crate with my dad's name in it, that'd be great.
Rob, check where we're at with time. if
Oh,
you
we're
can.
far.
I just wonder.
16, 18, so what's that, an hour?
Wait, no, go see the arrow to the right of that whole red box, that little arrow, where that time is.
Mm-hmm.
Go up more to the red box to the left now.
So
Right there. That arrow, turn that to time. Click that. Say time, man.
Oh, broke everything.
Oh,
54.
we're just at
Damn.
54. That's not horrible. But yeah, Dad, if you're watching,
Wait.
call
Get
me.
on here.
Straight
Send
up,
point
straight
Nemo.
up, first dude who calls is one of the Ron Kirby's. You hit up and he's like, I actually am your
I
dad.
know
And
this
like,
fucking
Jesus.
kid.
Oh my God.
And then you
Oh,
go, then
to
you go
answer.
10, well, I was
Oh,
gonna
sorry.
say then you go 10 years, and then he's like, I'm actually not.
Just
And it's like,
kidding.
Oh, man. Don't do that.
I was gonna say we'll close out here.
that's too much.
To answer your question about like you were asking something about like what am I gonna do, or like something about like when you find him or something, right? Isn't I forget what you had asked.
I just said the thing about like the ancestry thing.
Oh no! Earlier
I
on,
think I
you
might
asked
have.
something like basically like what like, or just the need to like. So this is how I need to close it out. I need to find him at this point just to fucking solve the game. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To fucking
To
just
be able to
complete
go
it.
to sleep
It's not to
and
like
have a
prove
restful
something
sleep.
to my mom or anyone else.
No.
It's like I just want to be able to. I don't even need to interact with this guy. That's what I've been telling some people that reach out. I'm like, hey, if you happen to know something, and you're just maybe worried that this person won't take it, or you know, it's something personal. Like I get it, but I just need to know a name so that I can turn to my mom and say, hey, it was fucking
Well-
blah blah blah, and she's like, yeah. Like I remember that name. That's him. And then I'm just like, cool. And it'll be like
I wouldn't
free
go
of
off of that
something.
information anymore.
No, I know.
I'm not gonna
No, but
lie.
you know what I mean. Like it'll just be like this freeing thing, and I'm not saying it'll like solve all my problems, and I won't be a dickhead anymore or something.
I mean, you never know who is listening too. So I mean,
But
I'm
I'm
not saying
just-
anyone out there could, but
I'm just saying,
hashtag
like,
find Vince's
I'm
dad.
on the I'm on the computer like all the time lately, just like driving my wife nuts. Like
At least
coming home
At
and I'm
least you're
just
like
there.
looking for something. I just like read about obscure like Wikipedia pages
Or
about
where
weird
you
Marvel
send me
characters
fucking-
that don't
You
exist.
send me like subreddits and
Yeah,
stuff.
just a bunch of subreddit shit.
But yeah, so like, you know, I'm prepared for all of those options, especially like the one that I'm most prepared for, and why I feel like I'm not getting the most places, because he was in the military, is that he's just dead. You know what I mean? Like he could have died like the following year. Like Gulf War was happening around that
There's so
time.
many questions too. Like I wonder, like yeah, like there's probably he's this dude, and it's like either if he is alive, it's like does he even know?
Oh, he definitely doesn't know, but it's like, yeah, does he want to know?
But what? But then it's like if he does know, what's he fucking doing?
Yeah.
You know, like,
I think there's no way that he knows, honestly, because I mean, full disclosure, my mom was 19 and she
Yeah.
was living on an air base, and she was just having the time of her life. So there were quite a few people, and to her credit, she did like apparently she did have tests on a number of guys, but especially in the 80s, 90s too. Like if you were testing to try to find out who your baby daddy was, like the people in the place that tested are giving you that stank eye, you know what I mean? And they're saying shit. Like my mom even told me that she called one day just being like, hey, just checking out on this guy. She was like, we've tested 6 guys already, and no, this one isn't. And then like hang up the phone. Being fucking dickheads
dude.
about it, you know?
You did that nowadays, you'd fucking
Yeah.
it'd be a national news if someone did that.
All
to
right.
I mean,
someone.
yeah,
You'd talk
I
to
mean,
someone like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway,
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
So yeah, thanks to our listeners and viewers. If you listen this long, thanks for hearing my story. Thank you guys for hearing my story. Let me use this
Always.
platform to try to let it off, because as I said, like writing these shows has been fun and stuff, and has been distracting, but it's a gnawing. No, it's like a gnawing thing, and I think
it
is
helps
a
us
story.
understand more about your nature too,
Right.
being your friends and like doing the show with you. It's
Right.
can gather a little bit more why you're super gung ho all the time.
Yeah.
We're not.
But yeah, no. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, you guys. And check out cannabinoidsheel.com for the 15% promo code.
And our music review.
Oh yeah. Thanks again to no, I don't even know what he was saying really, but thanks again to Austin Fillmore for the song. That was good. I'm glad.
And thanks to our other sponsor, Xanax, for keeping us
there in the zone,
for allowing me to fly on planes.
But and thanks to our sponsor Ancestry.com
and Audible
and our Patreon.
Yeah,
Rob S.
Rob S.
Rob S.
So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Episode 23. Vince doesn't find his dad.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Vince doesn't find his
Spoiler alert. It's not Ron Kirby.
But yeah, tune in next week. We might have a guest next week. So check it out. We'll see what happens. But
also get on that Patreon and get those secret vids.
Yeah, get the secret vids. We're about to film one, but we're not going to tell you what it is.
Yeah, you don't.
We might have already filmed it.
So bye.
Bye.
Good night.